Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make sausage Johnny cake. This is something my grandmother used to make for me when I was little. It's kind of a cross between a Johnny cake pancake and a cornbread. Traditionally, she would do it for breakfast. It also makes a great brunch dish. I don't really know the background of the recipe. My grandmother probably got it from a 1930s cookbook or a magazine or something. I did a little bit of research, and all I could find out is that I found a couple recipes online for it, and it was the exact same recipe, and that it's a pretty old recipe. So anyway, what we're going to need is, as the name says, it's the sausage Johnny cake. So we're going to need some sausages, some breakfast sausages. You can use your favorite brand of breakfast sausage. I happen to be using just pork breakfast sausage. You could use chicken or turkey breakfast sausage as well, or even a vegetarian sausage, which would keep it meat-free. All right, and then we need some cornmeal, some yellow cornmeal. We need all-purpose flour, buttermilk. There is a way, if you don't have buttermilk on hand, there's a way you can make your own buttermilk. It's whole milk with vinegar. We'll put it in the comments for you, so you don't have to go search for it in case you want to make it. You need a beaten egg. We're going to need some vanilla extract. We need some sugar, some salt, baking powder, and some vegetable shortening. Truth be told, I remember my grandmother used to use bacon fat, but we'll use the vegetable shorten. We'll cut down a little bit on the calories and a little bit on the fat. I'm going to do this in a cast iron pan. You do not have to have a cast iron pan. You can do it in a cast iron pan from start to finish and cook it in the oven in a cast iron pan. If you don't have a cast iron pan, of course, just fry your sausage with a regular saute pan. Fry it till it's cooked all the way through, and then as you mix get your ingredients mixed, you can put this in a 9-inch cake pan. Or you could even, if you've got just a 9-inch saute pan, just make sure that pan can go into the oven, is oven ready, and up to 400 degrees, because we're going to cook this at 400 degrees. Okay, let's cook breakfast. All right, we're going to get our sausages in our warmed up cast iron skillet. The recipe calls for 12 sausage links. I've never been able to find a package that has just 12. There's 14 in here, so we're going to make them all and put them in it, or eat the others. All right, so again, just nothing to that. You want to get these into a warmed pan and get them frying. And you do want to get these cooked through because even though it's going to go in the oven, it's not going to be in the oven a long time. At this point, good idea to set your oven to 400 so it's ready and hot when you want it to be. Start. All right, let's go do the next step. Okay, so what you want to do is you do need to do this a little bit in advance to putting it all together. You could also cook, if you did want to do this for breakfast and you didn't want to take the time to cook the sausages, cook them the night before, keep them in the refrigerator overnight. Might want to zap them in the microwave for 30 seconds or so, just to kind of warm it up a little bit. All right, so the next important step is you want to get your buttermilk into your cornmeal. Give it a stir. And this is going to have to sit for 10 minutes before you combine your wet and dry ingredients. So give that a stir. And let that, put it aside, let it sit for 10 minutes. All right, so in this bowl we've got all of our dry ingredients. So we've got our flour, salt, baking soda, baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder, and sugar. All right, so then I'm just going to give it a little stir. And then we're going to cut our shortening into that. So all kinds of ways to do this. I'm going to just put on a latex glove so it's not that hard. I don't take an hour to clean up. Of course, you could use the pastry cutter or whatever, but it's just a small amount. So you got a third of a cup of shortening. And I'm just going to cut it up into your dry ingredients. So for those of that haven't done this or you've just watched it, you're just kind of pinching it into the flour till it kind of forms like, I was going to say like sand, but it's really not quite like sand. But you want it to kind of all start to come together. You see? Got little chunks in there. Kind of like you do this, of course, if anybody has seen if you're making biscuits or pie crust or anything like that. This recipe actually comes together really fast. So kind of like coarse sand. There we go. All right, so we still got 7-8 minutes on cornmeal and buttermilk soaking together. So we'll be back when we're ready to go on to the next step. Okay, our sausages are all cooked. Our oven is preheated to 400. The recipe calls for, do a little pattern on the bottom of whatever pan you're using. So you can see I've got my 6 whole links, and then I've cut 6 of them in half. We'll see if I can get it to all stay in place. All right, so our cornmeal and buttermilk is set for a little bit over 10 minutes. Then we got our slightly beaten egg and our vanilla extract. And put all that in there. Give it a little stir. And then we're going to add our dry ingredients in. Let's do maybe it in 2 batches. Again, this is one of those batters that you want it just to kind of come all together. It's going to be a little bit lumpy, and so you want to mix it till it's just combined. Scrape down the bottom and the sides, make sure you got all your flour in there, and that aside for now. Now, clean that up. Put that there. My pan is still hot, so that's one thing you always got to remember with the cast iron pan. It's going to maintain that heat for quite a while. So then we got our sausages. So kind of put them like 6 on 3 on each side. It's kind of like going to be like almost like a piece of pie when you cut it. Six. There you go. And then you take your half ones and you put them in the middle. Maybe one right there. We'll put 2 in there. 2 over there. No, I want this over here. And somebody's gonna get, hold on. Yeah. Doesn't really matter how fancy you get it in there. The batter's probably gonna push it all around anyway. All right, so then we got our batter. Look at, see how it's still a little bit lumpy, but it's fluffy. It's gotten fluffy from the baking powder and the buttermilk. All right, so then all you're going to do is pour it over the sausages. There we go, maybe spread it out a little bit even. Okay, so that's it. That's really all there is to it. Now the next thing is to get it baked. I'm going to put this on a sheet pan with a little bit of tin foil on it, just in case it leaks over. All right, so then we're going to put it in our 400-degree oven. On the middle rack, of course. Put it in. And that's going to take, let me just check my recipe. I can't remember, 30 to 35 minutes. We'll come back and give it the good old test at 30 minutes. And if it's not done, we'll put it in for another 5. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Set an oven timer for 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes.
We'll be back in 30 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. Let's give it a quick check. So again, we're just going to stick a toothpick in. We want it to come out clean and dry. Yeah, I think it needs probably another 3, 4, 5 minutes. So we're going to put it back in. And we'll let it go for 5 minutes and we'll come back, check it. Okay, I let it go for another 3, 4 minutes. I think it should be done. And yep, that's done. All right, we're going to let this cool for a good 10 minutes. 15 minutes is even a little bit better. That pan is going to be really, really hot. Want it to cool down a little bit to make sure that it releases easily. Although, you can see this, my cast iron pan is pretty well seasoned. You can see, look at it's also another way to see that it's done. It's totally pulled away from the sides. All right, well, tonight we're having breakfast for dinner. So we can't wait to eat. See you in about 15 minutes.
One maintenance dose every 8 weeks. It helps prevent asthma attacks, improve breathing, and lower use of oral steroids. Nearly 7 out of 10 adults with asthma may have elevated eosinophils. Fasenra is designed.
All right, we're ready to eat. Got a little bit of warm maple syrup. Pour over the top. You already got some?
Yep.
Okay, dig in. My sausage is kind of moved around a bit, so it's going to be like digging in there trying to find them. But oh, I got one. Look at that, perfectly. Right in the middle of mine.
Oh, that's good.
Mmm. Mmm, tastes good. Tastes just like breakfast. Good.
Very good.
So we got a little bit of fruit and some tater tots with it because we love tater tots. It's got some nice hearty breakfast because it also makes really good brunch. I hope that you all enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed making it. Thank you. Oh, what's the website?
Don't forget, check us out on cherryhillhomecooking.com.
And if you like this video,
Yep.
please hit like. We'd love you to
Yep.
subscribe. Even if you didn't like the video, hit like anyway. Ciao.
Bye. It's getting good.